every day, even walking down my street. If I'm walking past and there's police officers out here, I tense up because you just never know.
This is not a story about how police interact with black people in America. It's a story about how police interact with the mentally ill in America.
Timothy Hyder, my diagnosis is bipolar, and I have psychotic features.
As a result, Tim Hyder has had his share of run-ins with police. Mostly, he says, after friends or family call 911 worried he's going to harm himself.
Like I said, you have 99 things going on in your head already, so it's hard to process what their commands are or what they're trying to say to you.
Calling 911 for help with a mentally ill person is not uncommon, according to our most recent WUSA 9 data analysis. We broke down almost 940,000 calls to DC's 911 emergency services from January 2019 to June 2020. Only 1 out of every 3 911 calls were to report some sort of a crime. The other 2/3 were for things like alarms going off or traffic accidents. But right there near the top of the list of all those non-criminal calls, mental health. 36,000 calls for assistance with some sort of mental health issue over the 18-month period we studied. And that can be a scary call to make for the friends or family of a mentally ill person, says Jean Harris. She's president of DC's chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness.
They are concerned about what would happen if they call the police.
Why? Well, just watch what happened in Fairfax County over the summer.
He's walking around in the middle of the street, rambling.
Officer Tyler Timberlake tasing an unarmed man who appeared to be in mental distress.
Is he wanted?
The attorney for Officer Timberlake claimed he mistook the man for someone with a criminal past. Despite that, the Fairfax County Commonwealth's attorney charged the officer with assault and battery. The man was treated and released from an area hospital without serious injuries. Harris says similar incidents around the country have led to even more violent and tragic outcomes.
Because people have been killed because they use violence instead of trying to de-escalate the situation.
NAMI DC is calling for increased CIT, or crisis intervention training, for police departments across our area. Now, right now, a typical crisis intervention training for a police officer is about a 40-hour, week-long course. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be recertified every year like firearms or weapons training has to be. And here's the part we were most surprised to learn. There are lots of police officers in our area that don't have any crisis intervention training for the mentally ill at all. We asked some of the largest police departments in our area and found in Fairfax County, Officer Timberlake was among 60% of the department that has no crisis intervention training. In Maryland, 44% of the Montgomery County Police Department does not have crisis intervention training. And here in the nation's capital, the DC Metropolitan Police Department told us a staggering 77% of its officers have not taken a course in crisis intervention training for the mentally ill. In fact, Harris tells us 2 major law enforcement agencies right here in the district, the Metro Transit Police Department and the United States Secret Service, recently contacted her group to tell them none of its officers had crisis intervention training for the mentally ill. And did Harris know anyone at NAMI DC that could train them? Both departments declined comment or did not respond to our repeated requests for an explanation. What does that say?
That says that a lot of people are not in tune to what mental health really is, what's needed, and how and what ways police play a part in that if there's a crisis.
You're already having a crisis issue as it is, and then someone coming up to make you feel like you a criminal or something like that. And it's not a criminal to have a mental illness.
Tim Hyder says he's faced officers who surrounded him with guns drawn, shouting commands, before ultimately handcuffing him and transporting him to an area mental health hospital.
But I don't understand why that would have to be. I mean, why do you treat me like that?